Whoa, 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 this is actually happening. Like, emergency, actually happening. Popo outside, sirens are, it's happening. No, I haven't been drugged. I'm being, like, genuinely for real. For, like, the last 3 years or so, the field has just seen Verstappen dominance after Verstappen win.
Max Verstappen wins for Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen.
After Red Bull win, pole position, fastest lap, everything like that. But now, that's not the case anymore.
Norris trumps Verstappen. It's a Ferrari 1-2 in Australia. Charles Leclerc wins the Monaco Grand Prix.
You see, last time we actually had a championship battle, well, it was actually interesting. There were crashes after crashes, after drama after drama. There was shots being fired at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix between team principals and other people, you know. And it ended in misery for some and, well, happiness for others. At that time, Latifi and Mazepin were still on the field. Rest in peace, their dear souls. And Ferrari fans were still under Great Depression. Now, that was truly one great season, but we haven't seen that for, well, a long time.
It's only been 2 years, but it feels a bit longer than that.
Now, yeah, Charles Leclerc did fake a whole championship in 2022. He won a couple races here and there, but then forgot that he was driving for Ferrari. You had a Broccoli controlling the team in Mattia Binotto, and you had the whole clowns of the Ferrari pit strategy. Not a combination for success. Plus, he griefed his own championship by crashing out a lot.
Are you okay? Anyways.
And since then, there's been dominance after even more dominance from the one and only Dutchman. And you know what? After the first couple races in 2024, I thought it was the exact same thing as always. A write-off season. Do I want to watch this? Might watch the first lap and then get bored because Max Verstappen's going to be leading the race. Nothing's going to be happening. And that was the case because Bahrain, 22-second lead, Jeddah, like a 13-second lead, and he kept on winning races until he didn't. Australia comes round and, oh my god, kaboom, explosion. No, not a nuke, but it was his car. Of course, no surprise, Sergio Perez is actually nowhere, and he can't win the race because why would he?
He might have had damage, but we look past that.
Anyways, we actually saw a glimmer of hope. Maybe other teams could be close. Sainz, he won the race because he had enough of people disrespecting his name. Booted out of Ferrari for an actual ancient grandpa. Yeah, he took that personally.
Do you know what? I also take the fact that you're not subscribed personally. If you want to actually see a championship battle this year, you should subscribe and like, because if you don't, that won't happen, and we will also be always seeing that Dutch man win. No.
You know, the highs were highs after Australia, but it was just a one-off win. Max Verstappen went on a redemption run and kept on winning races after races after races. Honestly, the championship was wrapped up. Why am I still watching this? Why are you still watching this? Go away. I don't want to see this anymore. No. But in the exact same weekend that we thought that Daniel Ricciardo had just saved his career by getting a P4 in the sprint race, but then qualified P18 and had an absolute disaster class of a race. That same weekend, Lando Norris won his first win. Oh my god. Teams are actually getting close. Oh, Red Bull. Huh. Under pressure there, are you? And unlike all of the other race wins that have happened over the last couple years, Verstappen has actually been in this race and wasn't struggling. It was purely on pace. I mean, Singapore last year, what the fuck happened to Red Bull? Australia this year, I mean, his car blew up. You can go back and back and back. He's always had an issue. But Miami actually won on pace. Now, he might have been a bit lucky through the whole shenanigans of Kevin Magnussen and Logan Sargent. But hey, a win is a win purely on pace. Imola comes around and he nearly wins again. 7/10 off the win, pretty close. But Verstappen still managed to clutch up. Now I say Verstappen, not Red Bull, because, well, if I say Red Bull, then I'm including Sergio Perez, who throughout that race weekend spent more time in the gravel than on the actual tarmac. So Verstappen is kind of carrying at the moment. Now, in all of those races, Red Bull haven't really struggled. They've maybe gotten slightly unlucky, but genuinely, Monaco was the race where they were struggling for the first time in a while. And not like struggling like Max Verstappen has been complaining over the whole season, whole of last season. The car feels shit, but still bags that pole position, bags that win by literal minutes. No. This time, it was actually poor. He doesn't get pole position. He doesn't break Ayrton Senna's record of most consecutive pole positions in a row. And actually, he hits the wall.
Hit the wall.
signs of struggles. Now, their first sector in Monaco was pretty good, like one of the fastest. It was straights upon straights, minimal curbs had to be used. But the second that, they got into that section where all the twisty things happen, the swimming pool section, the chicanes, the hairpins, yeah, they can't ride the curbs, they can't ride the pavements. It was a bit of a disaster. That first sector in Monaco in qualifying, Max Verstappen was equaling Charles Leclerc maybe a tenth or so up. But going into the second sector, going into the third sector, he was losing like, what, 4-5 tenths? And I'm basing this off of Verstappen once again, because Verstappen was the only Red Bull who made it into Q3. Sergio Perez, a humble little P18. Also, what didn't help was the crash from Sergio Perez. Yeah, not too good. Everybody could see everything around your car and take notes, see what's working and see what's not. And of course, Charles Leclerc won the race, McLaren are cooking, Ferrari are cooking. A championship actually might be brewing. And that would be absolutely phenomenal to see. Now, last year, Red Bull were literally dishing out upgrades everywhere, but it's not the same this year because the field looks like it's bunched up even more than it was last year. And now it seems like when other teams bring in upgrades, like Ferrari brought in upgrades whenever they brought in upgrades, McLaren, they brought in upgrades in Miami or whenever they brought in upgrades, and they were cooking. And it seems like if Red Bull don't bring upgrades, then they would be swallowed down the pack just like Aston Martin have. Now, who am I kidding? It's just one race weekend. Similar to Singapore last year when Sainz got that win and things, Red Bull was struggling. Oh my god, could this actually be something brewing up? Could Ferrari be cooking? I mean, they were cooking for like the last couple races of that season. But hey, Christian Horner has been saying that it is kind of expected. But is it? But the fact that they were struggling in Imola, now struggling in Monaco, who's going to say that they're not going to be struggling next race? Canada is a track where you kind of have to use the curbs, there's a lot of chicanes, but you have to use. But hey, you could not use them. And that's clearly what the Red Bullness is struggling, is turning in and using the curbs. Now, Formula 1 is all about the entertainment. Now, yes, Red Bull might be struggling for certain reasons, and their Sergio Perez crash doesn't help their cause. Like 3 or so odd million euros down the drain to repair the car. What? That will not help them with their current issues of, we actually need to develop the car this year. Last year, they quit developing the car for like the last half of the season. And yes, Ferrari did catch up at the end, but still, they couldn't win a race. So hey. But this year, struggles after struggles, I'm not sure. They need to start upgrading sooner than later. But even if you are a Red Bull fan, I think we can both agree that having 2 cars which are entertaining to watch, that's better than only having one. Because there's no point of watching Max Verstappen last year, because he's going to win the race. Sergio Perez, now that's entertaining, because he can actually make some moves throughout the race, because qualifying wasn't the greatest, the races wasn't the greatest, but things actually happened with him. And this year, oh my god, it's an actually entertaining field to watch. And now you got to look at it from another perspective, because I think this season, 2024, is pretty similar to 2021. Roles might be reversed slightly because, 2021, do Mercedes fight for the championship or do they develop the car, the 2022 car? Now, if they developed the 2022 car, things might have been slightly different. Still would have lost in Abu Dhabi though, so... They threw all of their eggs in that 2021 basket and it didn't really plan how they wanted it to, did they? Now, they lost, unsurprisingly. And that put them on the back foot in 2022. And now they have been in the mud ever since, losing Lewis Hamilton. Toto Wolff hasn't smiled since Jeddah 2021. It's all just been a little bit pathetic. And honestly, I think the same is happening with the Red Bull right now. Do they focus this year on this year's car, or do they already scrap this year, focus next year, focus 2026? Now, what am I saying? Scrap this year? They're leading the championship. Their car is one of the best cars on the grid. But at the moment, if they can see like genuine flaws in their car, Checo Perez potentially might crash out more. There is like big issues. If they can see that, they can foresee all of the issues, everything that it's going to cost them to develop this car, and all of the time, the money that it's going to, is it really worth it? Oh yes, of course it is, and of course they're going to develop their car. They want to win this title, and so does Max Verstappen. That puppy has to be shushed, kept quiet, and kept happy. But hey, who knows? If they lose this title, throwing everything at this title, and they forget about next year, forget about 2026, they might lose Verstappen, similar to the way Mercedes is losing Lewis Hamilton. All of the things that he's provided for them, and just gone in literally an instant. And yes, there has been a title fight before, maybe slightly, the Ferrari 2022 days, but for Charles Leclerc had no confidence in the car. He had no confidence in himself. He had no confidence in the team. They were clowns. But right now, it seems like he has full confidence in the team. Same with McLaren. Here, they have both full confidence in everything that is going around. And with that confidence and Verstappen having very minimal confidence in the car, I think that is going to play out slightly differently to how we expected the season to play out at the start of the year. Everything about Red Bull just doesn't seem as sound as it used to. Here's the unstoppableness of him is being stopped. Red Bull doesn't seem as solid as they used to be. Now, this might be because Christian Horner has been sad under certain allegations. This might be because the RBs aren't Daniel Ricciardo isn't Daniel Ricciardoing as he was meant to. Things are just a little sour. McLaren and Ferrari seem solid. But at the end of the day, this could just be a little blip in their whole run of form. This could be like a Singapore 2023. Who knows? Next race, they might attend the race circuit in Canada and win by 30 seconds. And then everything that I've been talking about for like the last, I don't know how, it's over. Like, it's done. You know, I'm trying to be as rational as possible. I'm trying to not jump the gun and be like, oh, Red Bull is shit. Oh, Verstappen, who are you? McLaren are cooking, Ferrari are cooking. I'm trying to, you know, actually try not to be that. Because I can easily hype myself up, hype everyone up, be like, oh, we actually have a championship on our hands. But do we though? Things are definitely closer, definitely more exciting than last year, and definitely potentially might be as exciting as 2021, with 3 drivers and not 2. The constructors are very, very close, especially 1 and 2, and the drivers are also very, very close, 1 and 2. So, things actually might be getting a little bit spicy. But that's not to say that, hey, Red Bull still might win this year, this might be just a tiny little blip. Upgrades may be coming often, and Sergio Perez might actually fix up. Verstappen obviously stick him into any car, and he'll extract every single tiny bit of performance that he can, so there's no doubt in him. But who knows? This year they might win, next year they might win, 2026, they might win, in 2020, you know, it might just keep going on. Or things actually might be changing in Formula 1. Finally. I don't know who's going to win in Canada. I don't know whether we actually might see a 3-way fight for the win. When was the last time we actually saw a 3-way battle for the win? A long, long time. Imagine. You know what? Not even a 3-way fight. Piastri might join. He has outqualified Lando Norris the last 3 races. And I'm not excluding Carlos Sainz either. He has been on a rampage this year. Podiums upon podiums upon podiums upon... Oh my god, he is insane. He missed out a race in Jeddah. He lost weight and he scored a win. For a jobless driver, he is the best jobless driver in the whole world. Imagine a 5-way scrap for the title. Verstappen struggling in that Red Bull, but still being Max Verstappen and still putting up a good fight. Charles Leclerc actually feeling confident in Ferrari, not having, you know, shit people around him. A good race engineer for once and not, hold on, Charles, we are checking. Like, shut the fuck up. Fred Vasseur, oh my god, he's insane. Carlos Sainz, he has something to prove. He doesn't want to go out to Ferrari on a low. He wants to return to that team. Maybe, potentially. He wants to up his price and be, you know, end up in a good team next year and not an absolute shit team. Lando Norris, he's won a race, he's cooking. And Oscar Piastri, he also wants to beat Lando Norris and maybe win a race this year. Who wouldn't? Obviously just speculations, but, you know, let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Do you think that we actually might be seeing something on our hands? Or is this just like a Singapore little blip in their thing? Anyway, let me know down in the comments and watch that. Subscribe and like. Have a safe and fantastic rest of your day. And don't fall under a car because then you'll die and then you can't watch the videos. Anyway, peace.